Okay, all right, guys. Thank you for coming around again. This Saturday, and I'm gonna be. This is actually a series, so it's gonna last for 4 Saturdays, where we're going to be talking about how each document template for the SI scholarship, how they have evolved since 2017. I actually have copies of the templates that were used for, that were provided by the Swedish Institute for the 2016 application, 2017, 2018, and 2019 application. And I'm going to be giving out, sharing the link to all these templates so that you can, check them and see how these templates have evolved over the past application periods. So for this Saturday, we're going to be talking about the motivation letter template. Yeah, it's actually one of the documents required for the SI scholarship. If you go to the SI scholarship website, you discover that over these sessions, I'll be making lots of references about, I'll be going back to the SI scholarship website because it's very important. This is where all the information is. You just need to keep checking and keep checking and keep updating yourself. Whatever new information they release, this is actually the page for the scholarship, the Swedish State Scholarships for Global Professionals. So you need to be checking this webpage regularly and keep yourself updated about any information. So when you see required documents, these were actually required documents for the last application. And the one thing you have to note is there are the scholarship, they release templates to be used for every application every year. So you can just use the past templates for reference purposes only, just to study and see what kind of questions, what kind of things they require, and you can't use the templates for last year for the next one. I mean, it's not possible. You have to wait till when the next ones are provided. So today we're going to be talking about the motivation letter templates. So for those who are joining us for the first time, I'll still introduce myself properly. I'm Mopolaji Folorunsho, and I was admitted to New Shopping University in 2017 for Industrial Engineering and Management Masters program, and I came as a Swedish Institute Scholarship recipient, and I finished my master's studies in June. All right, so that's something brief about me. All right, so we go into why motivation letter. Okay, so after this session, I'm going to have some time. I'm going to take questions from you. So why motivation letter? Let me see if I go on. I usually confirm if folks are online. Okay, all right. Okay, we're good. So why motivation letter? So it's as the name suggests, they're just trying to know what your motivations are really. And motivation letters, as you already are aware about, is not only restricted for scholarship applications. Sometimes job applications also ask you to submit what they call cover letter, which is basically like a motivation letter. So motivation letters are just used in different applications, and the reason why these folks ask for motivation letter is they want to hear in your own words, to state in your own words why you are applying for this job, why you are applying for this scholarship, why you are applying for this master's program, why you are applying to this university. So just want to know in your own words. So what are you supposed to write about? They want to know how. So in terms of what you need to write about, you just don't go into the motivation letter and start writing. You need to start from now, talking about this scholarship now. In the last session, the live webinar that I did, I talked about the big idea, starting with the big idea. And the big idea, starting with the big idea involves studying what the objectives of the scholarship is, how it relates to your work experiences, your bachelor studies, your intended master studies, your future ambitions, starting from the big idea. So you need to understand that before you go into writing your motivation letter, you need to understand what are the objectives of this scholarship. What are they looking for? Because it's not everything in your experiences, it's not everything about your skills, it's not everything about your achievements, it's not everything about your ambitions that they want to know about. I mean, it's not everything that is relevant to the scholarship. So you need to understand what are the objectives of the scholarship and which of my skills, which of my past work experiences, which of my achievements, my ambitions are actually in line with the goals and objectives of the scholarship. So that's where you start from. So that's really what they want to know in the motivation letter. Just state why you are applying for the scholarship. Why should we give you this scholarship and throw away your friend's application? Why should we consider yours and ignore the other ones? This is where you state it in your own words. Why it is they must, like they must. I'm not saying that you should write, you people must give me the scholarship. But you need to write it in a way that they see it and are like, wow. I mean, if we don't give these guys this scholarship, we don't give this lady this scholarship, we will really be doing a lot of disservice to our goals and our objectives and what we want to achieve. That's the way you should approach the motivation letter. Why should they give you this scholarship and ignore the other ones? Because when you are submitting your applications, there are thousands of other motivation letters. So it's either they pick yours and ignore others, or they ignore yours and pick the others. So you need to state with cogent reasons, strong reasons, why they should give you this scholarship and ignore the application of the other person. That's you're not just going to be writing about, oh, I'm this, I'm wonderful, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that. I did this while I was in secondary school, I did this while I was in high school, I did this while I was in university, I did this at work, I did this. No, it's not all about all that. I mean, everybody has experiences, achievements, and different skills, what they can write about. But you need to understand that those who are assessing your applications, they have something at the back of their mind. They are looking for someone who will, help them push forward their agenda. And if you want to know what the agenda of the scholarship is, always make reference to this website, this web page. You understand their who we are looking for, their agenda. So it's not just about writing about your achievements and your ambitions. You need to know how to write it to, satisfy the objectives of the scholarship. So that's just why they need a motivation letter from you. So now, let's go into how has the SI motivation letter template evolved since 2016. Now, I started studying this scholarship since 2016. That was a year before I started my application. So I downloaded templates for that were they released, they provided to be used for the previous application before I applied. That was in 2016. So I have copies of this template, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to describe to you how the motivation letter template has evolved over the past 4 application periods. And it's very important because it will show you what they are really looking for. And then you can be able to predict, okay, these are the kind of questions they're going to ask in the next motivation letter template. That's what I want to achieve here. And so I'm going to show you the previous templates. Okay, so this is the 2016. I'm not sure. Let me see. Okay, I just want to confirm if you are seeing this clearly. Okay. I just want to make sure that this is very clear enough for you. Let's see. Alright. Okay, I hope this is clear enough. This is the 2016 one. As you can see, 2016, 2017, and then it was known as the Swedish Institute Study Scholarships. Now this is the 20. This is the one that was used in 2017. As you can see, it was still known as the Swedish Institute Study Scholarships 2017-2018. Now this was the motivation letter template that was provided for us when I was applying. Alright, so this is the next one. Swedish Institute Study Scholarships 2018-2019, and then this was the last one for this year. Now they changed the name to the Swedish Institute Scholarships for Global Professionals 2019-2020. Alright, so now okay, so they just ask, the first part they ask about basic information about you and your master's programs you're interested in. Then let's look at these questions. For the 2016 ones, there were 4 questions, and they are the first one is, what is one of the main challenges or possibilities that are important to you and your country today? Elaborate on how you, with your professional background and your planned education in Sweden, can address the above mentioned challenge or possibility. Okay, so what they are saying here is they actually want to know what are let me say the major problems or challenges in your country, very critical problems in your country at the moment. And then they're asking, how are you, with your professional background and your planned education in Sweden, can address this problem? So they are saying that, okay, from your professional experience, from your work experience, and then from your planned education in Sweden, how do you plan to address this? What are you going to do? What do you plan? What are those things you plan to do to address this problem in your country? So there are different things they're asking here. They're asking about your professional background. They want to know something about your professional background and about your elite something about your planned master studies in Sweden. And then they want to know about a major challenge in your country, a major problem. They want to know about it. They want to know if you understand the major challenges affecting your country. The ones, especially the ones related to your professional background, the ones which you can help solve in your country. So that's what they are trying to understand with this question. Now, look at the second one. It said, describe your professional goals for the coming 3 years after your studies. So what are they trying to know here? They're trying to know your goals. They want to know if you are really serious about addressing this problem in your country. You are not just being wishy-washy, trying just to be just wishing, that this is what I want to do. They want to know about your goals and your ambitions. And then the third question says, describe a personal achievement, experience, which demonstrates your leadership potential. So what they are trying to see, to understand from this question from you is, tell us about your leadership skills, your leadership experience, something that you did in the past that demonstrates how you've been a leader, how you've been able to influence people, how you've been able to do things for the community and, in your work or anywhere, how you've been able to, organize people towards a goal, towards an objective. So that's what they are trying to understand here. And the last one is, are you active in any network or organization or any project aiming to influence development in your own country? Please describe in what way. So what they are trying to understand is they want to know if you are involved in any form of volunteering, network, professional network, organization, or you are involved in social initiative, your volunteering experience. So they want to write about that. Now, so in summary, this motivation letter for this year 2016 was, they want to know about whether you know about the major challenges affecting your country. They want to know whether how you plan with your professional background. They want to know about your professional background. They want to know about how you plan with your master studies in Sweden, how you plan to address these problems in your country. And then they want to know about your goals, your ambition. They want to know about your past leadership experience, what you've done in the past. And then they want to know about if you've been involved in any volunteering or network um, you know, activity. Now let's go to the next one. 2017-2018, which was when I applied. The first question says, what is one of the major challenges? Oh, okay, this is just like the last one, 2016 question. And then the second one says, describe your personal or professional goals for the coming 5 to 10 years. Now, here they talked about, for 2016, they thought about for the coming 3 years. In this one, they are talking about for the coming 5 to 10 years after your studies in Sweden. Connect, okay, all right, there's an additional part. Say connect to the challenge possibility that you described in the question above. The third one says, okay, now let me address this. So the first one is just like 2016 one. They want to know about whether you understand the major challenges affecting your country and how related your professional background is to that challenge, or addressing that challenge, and how you intend to use your master studies, your education in Sweden to address this challenge at home in your country. So, and the second question is, describe your professional goals for the coming 5 to 10 years after your studies in Sweden. So again, they want to know about your goals and ambitions and objectives, what you plan to do, what are your ambitions, what you plan to do in your country, and then connect to the challenge that you described in the question above. Now, what they are trying to say here is, you talked about a challenge here in question 1. So how do you intend to address this challenge in the next 5 to 10 years? That's what they are trying to say in this second question. Now, the third question is, SISS is looking for individuals with strong networking skills who will engage with the SI network of future global leaders, community and influence and leaders in the chosen profession. Explain how you meet this requirement using clear examples of your networking skills and outline how you hope to use the skills in the future. Kindly refer to an example beyond your assignments at work. So now let me give you one secret. Now, SI, the scholarship, they like you giving examples of your leadership experience from outside your official work duties. Yeah, fine, you've had some leadership experience from work. Yeah, you should also include that in your applications. But they also want to know what you have been able to do outside of work. It's very important. It's very important you talk about it. Now, that's one secret. Now, they are making it clear in this past template that they want to know what you've been able to do in terms of leadership skills, in terms of networking skills, outside your work experience. So now they are looking for individuals with strong networking skills. They are asking about your network, your ability to network, your ability to meet with people and lead people and do stuff with people, drive a vision with people, be involved in maybe a professional network at outside work, a professional organization, you're involved in network or social activities or any CSO or NGO. They want to know all those things. And the last question says, SISS is looking for individuals that have potential to be future leaders or influencers in their home countries. Give a concrete example on what makes you an experienced leader in your context. How will you use your time in Sweden? The second part of this question says, how will you use your time in Sweden to develop your skills, your leadership skills further? So the whole thing they are asking about here is, what are your leadership? How have you been a leader? How have you influenced others, to achieve a goal, to achieve an objective, to carry out a project in the past? And then they want to know what are your plans? What are you going to be doing in Sweden to develop your leadership skills further? So you can see here that basically everything here they're asking about is, do you know about the problems affecting your country? How is your professional experience, your professional background connected to that? And how do you intend to use your master's studies in Sweden to address this challenge? Then what are your goals in the future? How do you intend to address this challenge in the next 5 to 10 years? Okay, what are your networking skills? What are your networking skills? How do you intend to how have you been able to connect with people in the past to achieve an objective? They want to know about it with clear examples. Then how have you been a leader in the past, or in a leader presently, as a leader presently? What are you going to be, what are you going to be doing in Sweden to develop your leadership skills? So you can see the whole thing here. It's just similar to the 2016 motivation letter. The 2017 motivation letter is asking about leadership skills, professional experience. Do you understand the problem affecting your country? What are your networking skills? What are your what do you hope to gain from your master studies in Sweden? And then what are your future ambitions? What are your goals, your plans 5 to 10 years after your studies in Sweden? How are you going to address the problem in your country, a problem in your country, and 5 or 10 years after your studies in Sweden? That's the 2017 application, and that's, I would say, one of the let me say, the motivation letter that got me the scholarship. All right, so we move to the next one, 2018 application, the 2018 motivation letter. All right, so what does this say? Okay. The first question says, choose one of the UN SDGs from the list below. Okay, there's actually a list of SDGs, and describe how your professional position or engagement in a network society organization relates to that goal. So here they are, driving their focus towards UN SDGs. Now I want you to pay attention now, because I think in the past two applications, their attention has been highly focused on UN SDGs. Now, the first question says, select one of the UN SDGs. Actually, there's a drop down menu here. It's supposed to come up. But so from this list, you need to select one of the UN SDGs. So what are the UN SDGs? Let me show you. I'm sure you know about them already. Alright. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so I think this page is not loading, but you can search, Google it, UNSDG goals. There are good health, education, and all those. So the important thing is they want you to select one UNSDG that is related to what you have been doing at work, or what you have been doing in a civil society organization, in an NGO, or in a network, and then talk about it. How does your work experience, what have you been doing at work that has been related to an SDG goal? How you have been, helping to solve, helping to, maybe it's health, how you have been able to, improve health in your work or in your network, in your NGO, how your NGO, the NGO you are involved in, has been able to improve health in your society, or how your work involves good health, or maybe education, or gender equality, or infrastructure, good infrastructure, or food security, all those things. Select what you want to know is your work experience, or your network or NGO or civil society involvement. How has it addressed or help to help achieve, help improve your country's ability to achieve a UN SDG. And then the second question says, describe using concrete examples how the master's program you plan to study in Sweden will contribute to your ability to address the UN SDG you have chosen above. So here they are talking about your master's program in Sweden. How is your master's program going to help you address the UN SDG you chose in the first question? So you see this thing here, your master's program, your previous work experience, your involvement in network. Talk about these things with concrete examples. Then the last one says, okay, this is not the last one. The third one says, using concrete examples, describe what makes you an experienced Alright, so they are saying describe what makes you an experienced leader and how you intend to develop those leadership skills further with your SI scholarship. So here they are talking about your leadership experience. So you can see that in all the motivation letters we've seen so far, there's a common theme. There's a common theme. What's your leadership experience? What's your network or civil society engagement experience? What's your work experience like? What's your master's studies? How do you intend to use the master's studies in Sweden to improve your skills, to address a problem? And then the last question says, what are your professional goals 3 to 5 years after your studies in Sweden? And what are your professional goals 3 to 5 years after your studies in Sweden? And how will your time in Sweden help you with reaching these goals? It's the same thing. What are your goals? So I hope you're understanding, you are follow along with what we have been seeing together in the past templates. It's the same thing they're asking about in different ways. Your professional goals, your master studies in Sweden, your ambitions, what have you been doing at work, your network or civil society experience, your leadership experience. You can see this thing here. So let's go to the last one, the one that they used for this year, 2019, the one that they used for this year, and see what they asked about. Now, the first one says, describe your current possibilities in terms of role or position or mandate to influence and develop processes and work carried out within your organization or network, and how the master's program in Sweden can enhance your abilities to do it so to a greater extent. Now, this question is quite loaded. They're asking for a lot of things at the same time. They're asking about your work experience or your network experience, and they're asking about your leadership experience in the same question, and they're asking about your master studies, your intended master studies. How is it going to improve you? How is it going to enhance your skills to be able to do more at work? You see it? Work experience, leadership experience, and your intended master studies. How are they related? How are you going to use your master studies to improve yourself to do a better job at work or in the society or in your network or your NGO? Now the second question says, have you engaged in any activity which contributed to social development, civic engagement, economic development, or policy making in developing country region? If so, please elaborate with regards to the activity and your role tasked in the activity, the outcome and concrete data, statistic supporting the outcome or the expected outcome of the activity if the activity is ongoing, and your specific contribution in the outcome. Now, secret number 2, listen very well. When you are writing your motivation letter for the scholarship, it is very important you provide as much details as possible. I mean, number, dates, when did you do this activity? How many people were in your team when you did the activity? What was your role? What did you do? Don't say, okay, we did this, we did that, we did that. What was your role in that team? When did you do it? How many people were in your team? How many people benefited from your work? How many people, how many lives you touched? What was the impact in terms of numbers, data, statistics? It's very important. You don't just say, I helped people get, educated. I trained people. I trained youths. You need to say, I trained 20 youths. And what was the result of that training? It helped them increase their earnings to $20,000 per year. And then it helped them provide, for their family, those kind of details. That's what is very important that you include in your applications. And so you can see in the second question, they're asking about your engagement in social development, in networks, in NGOs, in policy making, any activity that has led to development of your country or your region or your state or your province. So now, in all these things that we've discovered, that we've seen, you see that in different ways, they're all asking about the same thing, about your work experience, a challenge in your country, asking about your future goals and ambitions. They're asking about what your intended master studies in Sweden, how is it going to help you? They're asking about your leadership skills, asking about your network experience, your volunteering experience. It's very important that you don't just talk about your leadership experience from work. You talk about your leadership experience from your leadership experience from outside the work. It's very important. All right. So that's the trend. I've just shown you the trend of how this document templates, the motivation letter, has evolved in the past since 2016. Really. All right. So what do you expect? What should you expect in the next motivation letter template for the next application that's going to be released by the scholarship? It's basically the same thing that we've seen. Maybe not the same questions, but the same information that they want from you is what you should expect that they should want from you in the next one. For example, you should expect a question about your work experiences and how they are connected to UNSDG. Yeah. And then you should expect a question about your any leadership experience or past achievements. You should expect a question about what you hope to gain from master studies in Sweden. You should expect a question about your future goals and ambitions. Now, these questions doesn't mean that you are going to have 4 questions. I'm not on the committee. I don't know what they have in mind. I was just a recipient of the scholarship, and I'm just studying the past templates just as I've shown you. So I'm just showing you what I think may come out. Now, these questions, they don't have to be, it doesn't mean there are going to be 4 questions. It can be just maybe 1, I don't know, maybe just 2 or 3. But you're going to expect this. They are going to be expecting information about your work experience and how it's connected to UNSDG, about your leadership experience, about your past achievements, about what you hope to gain from your master's studies in Sweden, and about your future goals and ambitions. I'm very sure, expect that they are going to be asking for information about all these in the next motivation letter. Now, I'm not saying this as someone who has seen the next motivation letter template. Of course not. I'm just saying this as someone who has studied the past templates. Yeah. So take note of this. So really, I'm going to be taking some questions now. I'm going to be checking the live webinar feed to see if you have any questions. So if you have any questions, just post. And if you know that you have a personal question that you want to ask me, or you want to know about my coaching program, or you want to know about how to apply and every other thing, you can just book a free one-on-one video consultation with me using this link, bit.ly/let's talk on phone. bit.ly/let's talk on phone. just type out this link in your web browser, and then you schedule a time for us to you schedule a time throughout any day, Monday to Friday in August, for us to talk on a video call. So I'll be expecting your schedules, your bookings, and everything. So next Saturday we're going to be talking about the CV. This Saturday we talked about the motivation letter. Next Saturday we're going to talk about the CV template, and now it has evolved in the past application period. So thank you. Let me see the questions that you have. Okay. All right. So I'm expecting your questions. Okay, so before I attend to the questions, you will see that in the post about this live webinar, I attached a link. The link is a link to all these motivation letter templates that we just looked at. So if you want to look at them, download them, and check them through yourself, that's the link for you to download them. So expecting your questions. My question, okay, I have a question already. My question is in regard to SDGs. In your opinion, which of these is mostly taken in? Really, I don't think there's any bias by the scholarship towards any UN SDG or not. See, it's not about which SDG is the one they take most. It's about your application. It's about how strong your application is. No matter the SDG that you choose or anything, it's all about how strong your application is. If the SDG you chose is about gender equality, you have to provide cogent, strong reasons of what you have been doing in the field of gender equality. It's all about the strength of your application. It's not just about the SDG or which SDG they select that wins the scholarship mostly or anything. It's all about how strong your application is. If you're going to be talking about a UN SDG, make sure you are giving strong reasons how you have been involved with that particular SDG. So that's just about that. Okay. Who can prove your leadership experience as a referee? Okay. Who can prove your leadership experience as a referee? Really, that's not what we are tackling in this live session, because we're going to be tackling that in another live webinar. There's where we're going to be talking about that. So I'm not going to address that now, because today's webinar is just about the motivation letter. What you're talking about is a proof of work and leadership experience form. which there is also already a plan now to address that. So just keep this question on hand when we have that webinar in the on the third Saturday. That's what date is that? Third, 10th, and 7th. On the 17th of August, when we are going to be tackling the proof of work and leadership experience forms, then you can ask me this question. Then we can, yeah. So, if one eventually becomes a recipient of the scholarship and commences study, is it possible for the recipient's family to join him or her there in Sweden at a later time during the period of study? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, even when you're coming to Sweden for the first time, you can come along with your family. But one thing you should note is the scholarship only covers for just one person. That's the recipient of the scholarship only. The other family members have to show proof of funds to the Swedish Migration Agency before they can be granted entry, the residence permit or entry visas. All right. Looking forward to any questions. Any more questions? In a situation in which you went out with your team and spoke to a large number of people and impacted them in one way or the other, do one still have to personalize the achievement and give the specific number of people impacted? You know, you've been involved in a team, and then I believe you did something in that team. Of course, you can talk about what the team did. Like, okay, we were 10 in the team, and this is what the team achieved. And but you have to talk about what you did. That's what the application is about. They want to know you. So, what did you do in that team? Oh, I helped to talk to people. You said you went out with your team and spoke to a large number of people. Yeah, you talk about your team, what your team did, your role in that team. I was this, and when I was in this role in this team, I spoke to this number of people, and this is what happened to their lives. This is what happened to them after I spoke. So you just have to talk about what you did. It's important what you did in that team. It's very, very important. Okay. My entire life, I've been in the health sector, um, including volunteering. Is this SDG 3 enough, or one has to have at least two SDGs? Well, it doesn't have to be two. It can just be only one SDG you talk about. It doesn't have to be three, two, or four SDGs. That doesn't mean that you have to. It doesn't mean that the more the number of SDGs you write about, the more your chances of winning. No, it's not. It's not like that. It's all about your strength, the strength of your application. The only SDG you can talk about, you said health. How have you been involved in health? In your work experiences, what impact have you made in health in the health sector? If you can give strong reasons, strong, a strong write-up about this, I mean, your chances are high of winning the scholarship. It's not about writing about 2, 3, 4 SDGs. Not about that. Doesn't mean your chance of winning a scholarship will increase. It's all about how strong is your impact uh, towards the SDG. Really? Thank you. Please, I want to ask in writing your motivation letter, can you talk about your work experience in more than one UNSDG? Well, it depends on how the motivation letter is drafted. Like this for the 2018 application, the question says just choose one SDG and talk about it. I mean, just one SDG. Choose one from this list. So that's what they just want to talk about. And then there's this. So it's where okay, let me see. Yeah, that's the only motivation letter that has talked about UNSDG. Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, and they just ask you to pick one. So it depends on how the question comes out in the next motivation letter. Maybe choose one SDG, talk about two SDGs. No, it depends. Really, depends on what the question says. Alright, waiting for your questions. Alright, so I think that will be the end of this session. If you want to ask me personal questions, as I said, you can book a free 15-minute one-on-one video consultation with me using this link, bit.ly/let's talk phone. And next Saturday, give it a date, live webinar on the CV templates. So guys, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.